Hello everyone and happy Friday. Before we share my analysis from these last few days, please remember that neither I nor the SIMETRI team from Crypto Briefing are licensed financial advisors. What we provide is not a personalized investment advice. It is merely our opinions based on our various research and diligence. As always, do your own research before making any decisions about buying or selling crypto.
Coming in with my call for 30k to be revisited. So 30k is definitely the downside level that I'd like to see tested before we see a true move higher in the market. 40,000 is really the monthly pivot point, 40,050, shall we say, and the current weekly pivot point, 38,650. We're way above there at the moment, and the upside targets that I had. If we get much past 43.5, then I will be concerned about this up rally, and we might see a challenge towards 45,000. So if we hold below 43.5, then it's generally going to be a good sign that this is going to reverse. And that's kind of the range that I'm looking at, 42, 43.50. Once we fell underneath there, we'll probably head lower. If we start to hold above there consistently and move above there, then we'll probably see a much higher moving Bitcoin in the next few days towards 45,000. Daily price closes below 35. There'd be an ultra bearish signal for me, and we can easily see 30,000 probably after that. And I just dig into this up move very briefly. You can see the momentum indicator here, and that's issuing some divergence already down to about 40.50. So this is one of the reasons why this can just unravel very quickly. We also have the head and shoulders pattern in Bitcoin. So that does look to me at the moment like it's forming a final right-hand shoulder. If we were to see 45,000 below, then potentially if we measure this target, we're looking at around 52, 53,000. But a primary scenario is a reversal. And we've got this head and shoulders pattern here as well that we need to pay close attention to. So something very interesting is happening here. And I don't know if anybody else has spotted it. So if you can see this head and shoulders pattern, the market seems to be looking at this rising line here and is paying a lot of attention to it. Now, if you can remember during the summer, the absolute inverse of that happened, i.e. That we had this inverted head and shoulders pattern with this very weird falling line, and people like Bloomberg were actually charting that the falling line here, this was the neckline breakout rather than being a horizontal line. It's this falling neckline break, and that was a fake out to the upside and then a move lower. So of course we've got the inverse happening here, where we've got this rising up line, the market's paying attention to it, and maybe we get a move lower, and maybe this is a fake breakout, because the size of this pattern here, 36 to 68, is indicating an absolute massive decline. So for me, I still think we head a lot lower, but I'm not entirely convinced that this is going to play out. And I think it's a bit of a clue if we look at this here that this didn't play out to the upside. So I rather suspect that we're going to get another low. This area here is going to get taken out briefly, and then we're going to go back up and revisit there. So lots of fake patterns, I think, happening in the market at the moment, and it's just very interesting to me that the inverse of what we saw last summer has also started to play out, and I think it's even more reason why we need to be careful with Bitcoin at the moment, and why I suspect the risk reward is probably a little bit lower if you are mega bullish towards Bitcoin. Again, going back to the median indicator, even though we're narrowing a little bit on the monthly, we're still bearish there. So for me, I do still see a case to move lower, because this has not yet flipped to bullish, even though we've had quite a strong recovery. So overall, I'm hoping for a move down towards the 30,000 area and under, and then a big reversal. I cannot discount a rally from current levels if we see the 45,000 level broken and a big daily price close above there. A drop below 37.9, that area I showed you, it could cause a nice decline down to 35 and hopefully start off the bearish movement. MACD divergence is present on the lower time frames after last night's pump, although it takes some time to reverse. Admittedly, divergence, you never know when it's coming. And also, don't forget the fundamental backdrop here with Ukraine. Things can change very, very quickly. So don't fall in love with your positions. Okay, so looking at Ethereum, I thought I'd bring in a little bit of on-chain data this week just to show you why you probably shouldn't get too excited about any type of recovery in Ethereum. So this massive spike in token age consumed earlier this year, it kind of indicated that things were going to change when we knew that it was a bearish movement to the downside. So we haven't seen any big changes. So when we start to see big spikes in this metric, it normally means that there's a change going to happen. So far, we've just seen a negligible movement. So we'd be looking for another big outlier spike and then Ethereum to change direction. So that's not happened yet. And that's leading me to believe that the market is heading lower as well. Whale activity is very low and retail activity is very high. So there's generally not a good sign. And as we spoke about this earlier in regard to Bitcoin, these are all red flags that we need to pay attention to. Also, we have got, looking at the Renko indicator, we've still got a sell signal there on the daily time frame. So that's not a good sign. And if we have a look at the series of red there going there, we know the trend is bearish. There's this kind of head and shoulders pattern here that we're starting to trade under. So there's still a nice sell signal underway on the Renko indicator. That hasn't changed. And also, we've got a widening of the bands on the median indicator, which strongly suggests to me that we still can't get too excited on a monthly basis, because if you can see, these moves tend to last a while on the monthly time frame when they start to play out. So we could probably see some more downside in Ethereum, hopefully towards 2000 and lower. So overall, Ethereum is still bearish according to the technical indicators I'm currently looking at. Watch out for a big rejection or breakout around the current price zone. Look at the head and shoulders pattern and do pay attention to that, because if that breaks, we probably see 2000. So if we were to look at the chart, 2000 or 3.6, what is the most likely? It's probably 2000, because the trend is very bearish. So we do need to bear that in mind, even though we've had a move higher today.
And thank you. I hope you found my thoughts helpful. If you'd like more, please click the subscribe button for Pro BTC Trader and join me every week on Wednesdays for our live trading war room and daily email updates.